The Substance was one of the craziest movies I've ever seen.
Sometimes it's disgusting, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's over the top too much. Coralie, she wants more.
But in that madness, there was a real emotional truth.
Sue?
How did they do that?
We don't care so much about the script. The main thing is the audience will feel what the character feels.
In this episode, I'm sitting down with Jerome, editor of the Oscar-nominated film The Substance. This film broke all of the rules of filmmaking. To make something that was truly cinematically unique.
Each sequence was a kind of a little story. Like each sequence is like a short film.
We show how the power of inserts and sound design makes something truly visceral. And we break down the iconic mirror sequence and the ping-pong editing style that made it work. This is the Editing Podcast, brought to you by LTX Studio. If you're new here, please subscribe. I love movies that are very proud of the identity of it. How would you describe the editing language of this movie?
Yeah. It was kind of funny because at first I was editing on my own during the filming part. I didn't have any insert, so I just had the medium shot, wide shot and everything. So it was kind of normal movie at this step. So when Coralie came back and just bring all this insert, it was kind of a new movie.
You're hired. We want a show that's just like you. Beautiful and happy. People want to be happy. We air in 2 weeks, so let's get to work.
We had in mind something like unique, and each shot, it's the color, the combination of everything has to be not the things you were expecting to watch, to see.
Give us something that we weren't expecting. Maybe that seemed to be the rule there.
Yeah.
Because I would describe this movie as quite unpredictable.
Yeah.
How are you guys then making sure in the editing that consistently I'm being thrown off and being essentially hit with something that I just didn't expect?
Each sequence was kind of a little story. Each sequence has to bring something special, something like unexpected, like a rhythm, a close-up, an atmosphere. It was not that much to watch the whole movie together. It was like each sequence is like a short film.
What were specific moments where you were adding those extra details that was just giving us a unique experience?
Yeah, I would say maybe the shrimp scene with Dennis Quaid.
People just love that. I mean, that's just the way it is. So you're me. People are just people. And I have to give people what they want.
At first, it was not that easy to cut. In the sequence, we have to discover a disgusting producer who just talks like this. He doesn't care who he's talking to, and eating in a gross way.
It's inevitable.
That's one of the first one with this use of the very, very close-up, all this insert, slow motion, everything has to be kind of too much. The first sequence is great as well, like with the walk of fame.
Please, another way. Over here. We love you.
It tells you without any dialogue or 20 years of the career of Elizabeth Sparkle, who used to be a movie star and everything. All those sequences, if you take each sequence, it's a little story. It's a little. It has in his own style, his own sound. He knows everything.
I love that. Maybe in a way, each scene is technically a sequel to that scene in a way. I would say each of the scenes kind of their tone and their style and their vibe was quite conducive to just that. And then the next scene, even though it was like bouncing off it, that itself had its own unique feel and style towards it. And I think that kind of gave this sort of, not a jarring experience, but kind of, again, kind of showed just the volatility and also just the variety of the experience.
Sometimes it's cute, sometimes it's disgusting, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's over the top too much. But for sure, Coralie didn't want to have any kind of normal stuff in her movie. Sometimes, as an editor, you have something which works. You say, I'm quite happy with this, and that could be okay, that could work. But no, for Coralie, she wants more, lots of work. Lots of try.
It's quite rare for a director to be very brave in saying, no, it's not big enough, go more. Was there a specific scene or sequence that's probably started off quite tame, and then Coralie was going, no, bigger and bigger?
When Sue dance and does her show, so at first I did something which was okay, working, and kind of sexy dance with the dancer and everything, but that was not enough at all. It has to be so much shots, more speed with slow change of pace, change of scene, wide shot, very close up. It has to be crazy. I did maybe undo-it version or undo-it different one. The main thing is try lots of things, lots of song, lots of music. With Coralie, she's never happy about it. And you have to maybe to say, okay, if you want to be ready for Cannes or for another festival, at this point we need to stop. She really push you, try the best, give the best for the movie.
The sound design was one of the key elements in this, especially with just the barrage of inserts of those extreme close-ups. A lot of those had like overwhelming sound.
Her movie, the story she wants to tell doesn't have that much dialogue. We use this kind of sound not only for fun, but it has to tell something and to...
So it's not filling the gaps. It's actually, how can we use the sound design to be telling more of the story than the dialogue?
So you're me. People are just people.
You go inside the mouth of Dennis Quaid, eating the thing with the sound. You really feel like you're inside his mouth, and you really feel something disgusting. You really feel it's like a giant who is going to eat Demi Moore, to eat Elizabeth. Also, it helps you to change of perspective. Like, you have really big sound of eating, and after, when you go back to the normal chat, it makes you a break. It makes you, or one word will become very important.
She understood very deeply that sound design is one of those core elements that we can be using to tell a story. Probably just more of the sound design does tell the story more so than the dialogue for this whole movie, and that as a priority completely breaks the rules of film. But that's probably one of the reasons why this movie became so unique. Tell me through that moment a little bit more of like when the music was kind of cutting and we're having those moments inside the monster's head or whatnot.
The main thing was to go inside each character head and feel what she feels. So we just adjust the sound to have a low sound, and so it has the effect that it's like you go inside the head of the character, and it's like we don't really hear anymore the outside. It's a bit like, for example, when Elizabeth go outside of her apartment. And each time she goes in the street, the car and everything, the sound has to be really aggressive, more and more aggressive. It's like each character are kind of lonely. We live in our own world, and everything is aggressive outside.
Hey, so quick question for all of the filmmakers out there. When you're making storyboards, I kind of want to know what era you're in. Are you prehistoric with it by literally drawing crooked boxes on paper and stick figures? Cannot draw for the life of me. This is not how I should do storyboards. And I bet that's probably the same thing for you too. So I've actually not been using storyboards for my films, and LTX Studio has actually changed that. Now, it is an AI tool. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, that is fair. But this is a tool, not an output, to give you the ability to make storyboards for your film. It understands the visual language of genre. So an adventure or a horror with the same prompt, of course, is going to look completely different. And you know how often you grab a screenshot from a movie and then you send it to your DOP and say, hey, do this? You can also upload that reference into LTX and create shots based off that reference. And you can even communicate with your DOP by changing the lighting style. And then for the story, you could even be changing the weather. And you could even do a rough cut with their timeline feature. It shows you the shot in motion and lets you play around with the pacing and timing of your edits. And you know me, I love the idea of making a movie before you make the movie. You could be highly prepared for the shoot and be highly prepared for the edit. The tools are for everyone. You don't have to already be a professional editor. This is also a great place for you to start learning how to be an editor as well. So give it a try and make something really awesome. The movie is very much about insecurity.
Yep.
Our own insecurities, our own sort of self-destructive behaviors that can be developed because of our insecurities. How are you currently sort of approaching the storytelling and the visual storytelling of this movie to then essentially tell us, hey, this movie is about insecurity, this movie is about those behaviors, but then essentially you never said, hey, this movie's about insecurity, but we've gotten the tone and the feeling.
As we were walking, she always said, we don't care so much about the script, we don't care so much about it. The main thing is to have something immersive that the audience will feel what the character feels. Sometimes you compare yourself to, you watch a commercial or you watch something in a magazine or in a book and say, this man or this girl is so beautiful. I look so bad and I don't look good at all compared to this. When Demi Moore, Elizabeth, goes for a date, she's in the bathroom and do her makeup and everything. And the way is just going outside, but she saw the big poster of Sue, or she compared to Sue, and so she come back, try to do a better makeup, and it becomes worse and worse. That's one of my favorite sequences, because it's kind of very moving. Like she's like a teenager just before in the bathroom, give a call to the guy and everything, and that's the point where the movie becomes a bit darker after this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the movie gets so much darker because of it. That was kind of like the big pivot.
Little by little, we had to go until the fight. It has to be something is going to end bad. It has to be already that it's not going to be a fairy tale. It's like a bit like Requiem for a Dream when they take the drug. They know it's not good for her, so they know it's going to have a bad end.
It was fun and games before that, but now this is actually when it begins to get a lot more serious and a lot more scary then. When I edit, I'm constantly searching for the real moment. And when it comes to scoring my films, creative videos, or anything under the sun, I'm looking for that same genuine sound. Look, MusicBed's catalog is just really impressive. You know when you can feel the quality of a track? MusicBed's entire library has that feeling. Most of the time I can just grab any one of their tracks and it's gonna fit right into my edit. And their music is so good, I actually use their app and then listen to it as I would Spotify. And the fact that you can use this music makes those jam sessions, even more fun. So if you want to grow your channel this year and increase the production quality of your content, MusicBed is the key. Right now, MusicBed is offering the Editing Podcast viewers a 14-day free trial of their subscription. Switch to MusicBed now and start making content that truly, actually connects. The music or the feeling kind of faded away a little bit. We had like a brief moment of peace, and then the music then creeped back in on this shot. And I was feeling that change here, especially.
And also you have the sound all the way of this door. Like a big sound, like a big door. You know, when you go inside it, it's going to be not nice. It's like the dark room. The music is still light and still...
Yeah.
But you can totally understand what she sings. Great, I'm not as beautiful as her. So maybe I'm going to try to do better with my makeup.
Yeah, that's told very much just for the basic backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the longest shots.
Yeah, because it has to go to her mind, to her brain to understand. And that's so cool to have the time. So she has to go quick. It's like a bomb. It's like something is going to explode or something. But it's still kind of normal until she goes outside, I guess, yeah. There is no more music. You think it's going to be fine, you think?
Yes, you're right. Bit of silence.
As well as good the silence, yeah.
And music just creeps back in. What I really liked about that is, to an extent, in a way, we're kind of watching it in real time. And then for this moment, especially with the music getting louder and louder and louder there, for it to be such an abrupt cut and an abrupt skip in time, that I felt the frustration and like the shame that she's beginning to feel, like her insecurity. It makes us feel like erratic like that.
Yeah, true. Like, you don't expect it cuts like this. The audience has to feel insecure, I guess, like the character. Yeah.
And then again, this shot lasts for ages as well.
Yeah.
It's the insecurity again. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was kind of difficult to edit. We had the idea to move a little bit the picture. The idea like she's a bit like in a boat, you know, in her head. It kind of the sound and everything. And she doesn't want to watch. She doesn't want to look. So she just...
It's not center frame, but it's still there just a little bit. But then that then becomes a center for.
It's a bit like the cream. You have to go inside her head, and the sound becomes a bit different when you are inside. She's going to destroy herself.
It's a little bit more manic in terms of like, I don't even know what's the focal point when I need to look at.
She wants to hurt herself. She wants to, and I know that when they were filming, like Coralie was not happy about the sequence, and I know that at the end of the sequence, like Demi really hurt herself, you know, because she did it again and again.
Clearly, you were choosing shots where it's the most visual noise. And I guess if that's one to be more like she'll probably genuinely hurt herself, it's probably got the best performance. Use that to generally then peak out. We've already set up something here which is essentially just like a repeated visual or a repeated shot. Like it's her at the mirror, she's motivated by insecurity, keeps bringing her back to the mirror where essentially she hates herself, and then that visual motif comes back multiple times throughout this, and she's always trying to improve herself because she just doesn't think she's beautiful enough.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm getting this now, in a way, one of the bigger messages of this movie, the very toxic idea that time makes you worse.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, the less likely you're going to have a career. And so for her insecurity to then be paralleled with that sense of time as well, it's like a mini capsule of one of the themes of the movie.
Yeah, you're true. I even didn't think about this before. Brilliant. Brilliant.
One of the most important disciplines and harder disciplines is the less is more or when more is more sort of approach. The classic example is with Jaws and with Steven Spielberg. They realize in the edit, the less we cut to the shark, the better. But this movie honestly had the opposite approach.
Yeah.
Essentially, the more of the body horror that we show and the more of the actual horror that we show, the better.
Yeah.
So why was that so important were you guys trying to get that balance right? When was it too much? When was it too little? And when was it just right?
Coralie wanted that we really truly believe in the process when Sue goes outside of the back of Elizabeth. First thing, Coralie wanted that everyone understand how it works, to believe in it and to think it's something real. The idea was to show everything and to truly kind of have the experience of what the character has to do to become beautiful. So you have to understand that you have to suffer and you have to do some ugly part to maybe later on look more beautiful. She wanted to see everything, like she wanted to see like every detail. She has some glamour and pop universe and sexy things with Sue, but she wants to reveal the ugly part.
These characters suffer. It would be unfair if us as the audiences don't suffer, because therefore we don't understand it in their head. So I've had people complain like, oh, they stayed on the horror for too long, but actually that was the point. It was if we didn't get any of the suffering experience of like her coming out of her back, and we stay on that scene for a bit too long, actually no, way too long, but in a great way, we feel as ill or as sick with them by simply staying in that emotion for intentionally too long.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I had a really interesting interpretation of the ending as well. The ending, to an extent for me, kept on ending. Like there was many moments I thought it was just going to cut to black and say all right, that's it, the movie's over.
Yeah.
But it kept on going. I interpreted it as a representation of when a celebrity or an actor doesn't accept when their career is over.
Yeah, true.
And they keep on trying to keep it going and going and going. And they keep on making it worse and worse and worse. And as we're seeing it, it's getting worse and worse and worse until they genuinely, and in this movie, literally fall apart. And then the final remnants of Demi Moore's character is that crawls onto her Walk of Fame and then literally washes away. She genuinely becomes washed up right at the end.
The end is good. Like it's like at the beginning where the guy smash his burger on the thing, and you have the same thing. So for some people, they thought it was a bit too much, the end. It's like you want this flesh perfect to look perfect, and at the end, more and more, it becomes like destroying all this flesh. But for some other one, this kind of over the top, never ending. No, they're not going to do that. Or no, it's not possible. Okay, more and more and go. When Sue kind of killed Elizabeth, you start the movie only with Sue, and after you start another kind of movie with the monster, and you have this cute little sequence when the monster tried to put her earring.
Oh, yeah. There was something very oddly beautiful about that whole sequence as well. Like, that was when she felt, through editing, the most beautiful in a way, but then with this horrific imagery.
Yeah. More and more, she doesn't care about the way she looks. You understand, like, she does everything to find love and try to, not especially to be the most beautiful woman, but and after, it's going to bad endings, like when she starts to lose every part of the monster.
Oh, absolutely then.